for 2012 is that the volumes for 2012 at best would not be higher than this year's, than last year's of 2011. And there's an argument that suggests that 2013 will not fare better. The structural issues that are impacting Europe are deep, and I think that they range across a variety of jurisdictions, and then they manifest themselves in a variety of ways depending on the jurisdiction within which you're operating. Just before I came in, I was checking some European news, and I noticed that even in Europe, there appears to be no consensus on the application of this alleged Robin tax. Apparently, Prime Minister Cameron has objected to it on the basis that it's not in the interest of the UK. Chancellor Merkel appears to be supporting it together with Sarkozy. Even this level of division in terms of policy decisions that are being made is something which is unhelpful to anybody who's running an industrial business. It would be much more helpful if we had a very clear direction out of a unified Europe that took Europe en bloc out of the current condition and drove it in a particular direction. In the absence of that clarity, I think it makes it very difficult for us to continue to look at Europe as a potential recipient of investments. And it will give us some cause of concern as to the ability for us to recover the investments and earn any type of profit on the investments that are being made. We have seen some incredibly difficult pricing choices being made in Europe on the car side. Things that will suggest that people who are playing in that part of the market segments are not making any money, even on a variable cost basis. And so it's a very difficult market. It's a market that requires discipline in which you need to be able to abstain from entering if you think that it's economically unviable. These are not good signs. They're not signs of a market that is on the mend. They're not signs of a market that recognizes the condition that it's in and is willing to make the choices that it needs to make to rebuild the future. These are all decisions that were made here in the United States, if I can just draw a parallel, and back in 2008 and 2009. As painful and as unpopular as the decisions that were being made here, both by the administration in the United States and by the Canadian government in providing support to both General Motors and the Chrysler. There were measures that were designed at providing a fundamental restructuring of this industry and moving forward. These are things that we still don't hear being tabled on the European side. We're still looking for band-aid solutions, panaceas to much deeper structural problems that require a head-on approach and a willingness to engage and change. Until that happens, I continue to be less than optimistic about the resolve with which Europe wants to tackle these problems. It is a matter of resolve. You need to tackle them.
Can I just ask you one couple of follow-up questions?
So that was a very long answer to the question. The bottom line is we're delighted with the performance of Chrysler. We're less delighted with the performance of Europe for Fiat.
Well, that's actually just exactly. Could you repeat just your central point then about how pleased you are that you've managed to bring Chrysler to Fiat, and how how the American brands are now stepping in really to help Fiat at a difficult time in Europe. If you could just, in 2 or 3 sentences, if you don't.
Yeah, but I certainly can. I think we're delighted with the performance of Chrysler for 2 reasons. One, but I think Chrysler deserved and does deserve the success that it's having. I think the people that have worked here at Chrysler have done a phenomenal job in the last 3 years. But don't shortchange, I think, the input that Fiat has had in the development of Chrysler. I think that the resurrection of Chrysler is attributable to a variety of factors. But the car that we launched outside today is the first tangible result of the collaboration between Fiat and Chrysler. That architecture did not exist within Chrysler. That powertrain that you see on the podium is not a Chrysler powertrain. The transmission that you see in that vehicle is not a Chrysler transmission. So there were things that were brought over as part of the dowry into Chrysler that allowed Chrysler to do a variety of things, including being present in the largest retail segment of the United States. And the speed with which it did it. I think we should all be mindful of the fact that in June of 2009, we were still in bankruptcy. This is January of 2012. It feels like a lifetime ago, but in real physical man months, it was less than 36 months. And so a lot of road has been traveled. This car is coming out from the collaboration in less than 36 months after the fates of these two companies were joined.
So what does this say about an IPO then, which has been much rumoured for this year?
It is a less than probable event in 2012, to use a politically correct term. I think we have an obligation to explore this issue with VIBA in 2013, therefore it will not happen prior to that.
Thank you.
Mr. Marchionne, Murray Feldman from Fox 2 here in Detroit.
Hi.
We were talking a little while ago on the floor of the show about how important Metro Detroit and the United States has been, and the UAW has been, to the moment that you're sharing with us right now, the successful moment. Could you reiterate
Did
that
you
a little bit?
arrange for those bells to be played as you were speaking? Because that's
That always
really,
happens. I don't know
that's
why.
masterful. Congratulations. I'm going to try that
always-
next time.
But if you could discuss that a little bit with us, the importance of this area, this country, and the UAW too.
Probably the short answer to your question is that we see Chrysler as being Detroit, and we do not. That's not to take away from the other states in which we produce, but we have a lot of our production facilities in the state of Michigan. We have worked very closely with the state, and in particular with the city, to really bring back Chrysler, but with a very clear view of helping the city in that process. We like this town, and I've been public on this issue. I think Detroit, for a variety of reasons, sells itself short. It undoubtedly has issues, and undoubtedly has problems. But if the resolve with which the car industry pulled itself out of the doldrums back in 2008 is any indication of the way in which Americans can fix issues, then I think Detroit, if applied to Detroit, it could be a very good process of moving it on from here. I think the commitment that I've even made a personal commitment in terms of engaging in this United Way campaign for Detroit. I think it's essential. It's essential because in a lot of ways it already reflects a corporate commitment that was made by Chrysler even before my time to the United Way. But I think it reflects the attachment that we have to the city of Detroit. We want this town to come back. And this show, in particular, not just for Chrysler, because of Chrysler, but because of the other guys in town and because of what it is beginning to mean again, is an indication of a resurrection of the Motown that we all grew up with. It's a wonderful town. I think it needs to go back and own the car market. And I think it'd be a wonderful thing if it happened. If we can help it, we'll be more than glad to do so.